We are in Psalm 10 today. We're going to start in prayer from Matthew chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Amen. Okay. So, we're in Psalm 10. Psalm 9, I don't really remember the main idea. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget God. That's right, heathen. I was watching something about that. All the people that forget God. And you have no excuse, really, when you, like today, I just walked the behemoth over there, Jack, and it's a very beautiful morning this morning. It's a little crisp, cold, you know. We're making our transition into fall right now, and it's a little chilly out. You usually got some cold mornings, and then it'll probably warm up to 60, you know, at midday today. But it's very beautiful out. The sun's shining. My body type functions a lot better in this weather. You know, the coolness of, I don't know, maybe I'm naturally supposed to be in cold weather type climates. This area around here is very weird weather. Probably not ideal for anybody around here. But just thank God for this day, you know. You acknowledge Him as you're walking down that road, you know, walking this beautiful animal, and just marveling at His creation, you know, looking at the trees. The dog is enjoying all the different smells, you know, how the dog can smell just miles. Just imagine what the dog can feel, how he thinks about every different smell. And God gives him that gift of the ability to be able to smell everything. You know, that's why a dog has to do that when you walk him. Everything speaks of God, and everything, I think everything really acknowledges Him. But then here's man. Here's mankind. He's the one that forgets about God. It's unimaginable. I don't think most people, they say they forget God, but I think even deep down they know He exists. They just choose to forget Him, choose to not even acknowledge His presence. And that's a shame. But that was part of what we talked about back in Psalm 9. We're moving on to Psalm 10. I don't even get a title or a theme to this psalm, so we'll just get right into it. Psalm 10, verse 1. Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? I know the answer. I don't know. Or, you know, as we were discussing with Job, you know, not that long ago, how God has a plan for every person, every situation. He's playing the long game. We don't know how one event might influence another event, which the chain reaction will cause some other event to happen, which was the original plan, you know. Or perhaps the question is, you know, why standest thou afar off, O Lord? And maybe you're in trouble. Maybe you caused yourself to get in trouble. And you're asking, why are you abandoning me? Well, sin. He's a perfect God, and he is righteous, and he's always right, and he has his standards, and do I live up to them? Do I choose to obey him, or must he not? He's moving the table. Okay. So do I choose to obey him, or do I sin? And now he has to stand afar off from me. You know, is that the question he's asking? He moved the table. Incredible. See how magnificent. God's creation. He created this dog. Incredible. But yeah, I would say those two questions you could ask or think about. 2. The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. All these stupid little schemes, you know. You go through all this just to rob a bunch of people. You know, isn't that just... Sorry about the shaky camera. Why do you gotta do that? What makes you start doing this? I've done so many videos from this location, and I guess I should move another piece. There's a table over there. Maybe if I move that, then maybe he'd be satisfied. He wouldn't lean right on this table. But anyway, this verse makes me think of, I brought up Lyndon Johnson recently, you know, his poverty programs. McGee even brings that up, how poverty programs, have poverty programs actually helped the poor in any way? Yes, initially they get handed a bunch of money, but then what's their motivation then to even get a minimum wage job? You know, get some stupid job like I have. I think it's more to their benefit to stay unemployed, you know, or this, a lot of people were talking about the crisis with the virus, you know, related to unemployment benefits. Some people are getting benefits, and then they're getting like $600 on top of whatever their unemployment benefits are. So what is their motivation to go back to work? You know, they go back to work, they don't get all that money. So and then what's the long-term effect of that kind of program? Yes, we're suffering. We're, you know, I'm not belittling that. I'm not belittling my one subscriber. She lost her job. She had to give up her car. No, I'm not belittling any of that. I'm saying, what's the long-term scheme associated with all of this? That's what I'm asking. I'm just asking. I'm not, you know, this is fact. You better listen to me. No, I'm asking a question, you know, what is the scheme with the mastermind villain? You know, what is Lex Luthor planning in the end game associated with, you know, let's go back to the poverty programs with Lyndon Johnson. How has that affected African Americans? How has what's the name? Sanger branch libraries in this city? named after Sanger, Margaret Sanger, the founder of abortion clinics. I don't want to adjust the table now that he's moved it, so now maybe I should adjust. See? I have to adjust to the dog moving the table. Sanger, how do abortion clinics affect poverty-stricken Americans? Well, they're in these poverty-stricken areas. They have no opportunity to get a job, and they have no motivation to get a job because the pay is worse than just staying unemployed. And then how does that affect the family? How does that affect the children? How does that affect your mental state of being? How does all of this play into Satan's hands? That's the kind of questions he's asking in this verse. The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. See, what that Sanger woman wanted, she wanted to kill. She was a racist. She wanted to kill as many black children as she could. And that person is a hero in the Democrat Party. That should tell you something. It's racism, that's hate, that's evil. It's absolutely rotten. And so I would hope that people are going to acknowledge those devices and that planning and the end game of all of that. Killing, okay, so that is what has happened historically because of these poverty laws, Sanger branch abortion clinics in the poverty-stricken areas. What is the end game of it? Well, the African American community is strangled. And then they wonder why they're strangled. Crime statistics, look at that. Now, police are all racist. And then I'm a racist if I just simply look at a person in my store. I'm a racist immediately. So what's the end game? Now, they hate me, and there could be people in my race who misunderstand the situation and don't even realize what Lyndon Johnson's laws have done. And then they could misinterpret it and send hate to the opposite camp. And then they end up killing each other. The end game for us to all kill ourselves before anybody knows Christ. It's really the goal of that whole thing. Now, I do hope and pray that verse 2 occurs, taken in their devices that they have imagined. They're imagining race riots. They're imagining that we will all kill ourselves. I hope what happens is a nice guillotine gets put out just for them. And I want justice to take place. I don't want this group of people to get wiped out. I don't want this group of people to get wiped out, killing each other. You know, that's not justice. That's acting upon the corrupt legal manipulations that Lex Luthor has created, or Lyndon Johnson, or whoever villain you want to put in place there. They created that manipulation. I want them to be in that. I want them to get their just deserts. I don't want I don't want this group of people to all be thrown into prison, which is what that Lyndon Johnson has caused. That's what Joe Biden caused. He created all of those, I don't mean to get into politics, but it's very obvious, all of this. All these devices that he's talking about. What's the end game? You throw all of that group of people in prison. Look at the crime statistics. Isn't there something wrong with all that? And then they look at me and they think I'm the racist But it's not. It's Lyndon Johnson is the racist. Margaret Sanger is the racist. Joe Biden is... It's nuts. I hope people wake up. I can't smack my finger today because I have a cut on that one. I can kind of do that one, but this is my weak hand. But you see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying with that? You know? I want justice for those people who are suffering. I don't want the poor people of that group of people. You can see all the problems, and they're mostly caused by these low-life politicians, these Lex Luthors. I hope justice. I hope we get justice one day. We will get justice one day when Christ is ruling. The poor will finally get their fair shake. But until then, we live in this fallen, corrupt world. I hope you're aware of that. They have imagined, yes, a lot of bad things are very close to that fruition. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. See, your motivations in life, you know. See, Lex Luthor, his motivations dominate all life, you know, rule everybody. A nice Chardonnay, you know. All that. Whatever rich supervillains, whatever they aspire to, once they have everything, then what is the point of existence then, you know? I was thinking about that yesterday as I was talking to my coworker. He was talking about money and success in life and the end of it all. And I was concluding to myself, I was thinking, you know, really the greatest thing in life is communicating with people and interacting with people. How magnificent God's creation is. See, if you're a rich supervillain, there is no real communication and seeing the little beauties with every single human being, how magnificent God has created us, you know. There's no regarding that. Lex Luthor completely disregards that. He doesn't care about any human being. He wants all human beings to get wiped out, probably. Or fill in the blank with any politician. They don't care. Now, on the individual level, just the poor person, one-on-one, talking on the street, you know, I cherish that. I mean, I'm uncomfortable. The anxiety really screws me up, but I acknowledge that God's, it's so amazing what God has made. We screw it up. Blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. Make sure you take a step back and make sure your motivations are in line with God, you know, through the pride of his countenance, you know. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above, out of his sight. He doesn't see it. Doesn't see what he's doing. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. Yeah, that's how they get all their money. They just rob the poor. Taxes! Taxes! Aha! That's a cartoon reference. Every town has its ups and downs. Sometimes ups outnumber the downs, but not in Nottingham, right? Robin Hood It's an old cartoon. And then the rich villain says, "Taxes! Taxes! Aha!" That's what they do. They rob the poor. No, my brain is on that. I'm sorry. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit. Okay. What verse 8 made me think of is a lot of people are talking about how our current president is secretly wiping out child trafficking rings. That's what this makes me think of child traffickers in the darkness, basements somewhere. You know, what are they doing to poor people? You know how many missing people are in this country right now? Like right now. How many people are missing? How many people get abducted and nobody ever hears from them again? What is going on? You know? Where are all these missing people going? I think they're going to some secret underground labyrinth or underground bunker. Dumbs. Deep underground military bases. I don't know, this conspiracy theory. Yeah. But where do those missing people go? You know? I ask you. Those missing people never existed. What are you talking about? Oh. Fine. But it says secret places. Doesn't that secret places sound like one of my conspiracy theories to begin with? Do you think there's some secret underground labyrinth ninja base down underneath the hidden compartment behind the bookcase? Behind the bookcase? I think there is. I don't know where it is though. Thank God I don't. I don't want to know. Wish somebody would burn it to the ground though. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. See? He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. Go back to Lyndon Johnson. Go back to all these poor people. What do they do to them? They lure them in with promises of money. Free health care. Free college education. Free McDonald's. Free cell phone. Free. It's all free. How are we going to pay for it, boss? Well, we'll rob them, obviously. Thompson, you don't know anything. I've planned. We're going to increase taxes 84%. They'll never catch it. Oh! That's what they say. That's what they're thinking. So, they offer you all this free stuff, and then people like my cousin buy into it, and they vote for Bernie Sanders. And now that you've elected Bernie Sanders, now we increase taxes 90%. What is my motivation to get a job? Everything's free now, right? So nobody's working, and America dies. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He hath said in his heart, God hath forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. God doesn't see me, you know. Or God doesn't exist. Scientifically, you can't prove God. Arise, O Lord, O God, lift up thine hand, forget not the humble. Wherefore doth the wicked contemn God? He hath said in his heart, Thou wilt not require it. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief and spite to requite it with thy hand. The poor committeth himself unto thee. Thou art the helper of the fatherless. Break thou the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till thou find none. The Lord is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land. Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart. Thou wilt cause thine ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress. See, we need a man that's for God, that's in the spirit, a man of the earth. A man sounds like a worldly man, that only cares about this world, this life, The man of the earth may no more oppress. He's praying for true justice to occur. I'm sure David probably had all kinds of corrupt politicians around him, He's praying that justice will occur. About the same tax levies and tax problems were occurring in David's time. David was very prosperous. He probably got everything perfectly set up for Solomon. And then the same lowlifes that David probably ousted out of his administration probably came back and snuck into Solomon's administration while Solomon was ramming all of his wives. He was distracted with that and all the idolatry with all that, While Solomon was busy with that, these lowlifes that David is complaining about probably made their way back into the administration. Same thing with our country. You get, I forget which famous founding father said, "I killed the bank." That guy. The guy who killed the bank, he killed it, he ripped its head off, and he threw it into a toilet, That guy was one of our most magnificent leaders. He defeated the bank, but then these lowlifes end up coming back, these parasites end up coming back, and now here we are. Now Lex Luthor is at least partially running this country, and is God going to save us? Do we deserve to be saved? We've allowed this corruption in. And then the poor. Does Lex Luthor manipulate the poor? Or do the poor snap out of it and realize that the drugs, the money that the government is just handing you, really you're crippling yourself, Or is the government going to, can the government help in any way, It's a lot in this psalm, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but bottom line, justice will occur. God will help in the end. May not look like it now with everything going on, but God's coming down, and we will have justice one day. Doesn't feel like it right now, though. But that talk about the poor being ensnared, it's very true. It's very scary. What was that? Yeah, verse 9. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. All right, we'll continue with Psalm 11 next time after I fix my table now. Thank you for listening. Have a blessed day.